What a day, what a day, what a day I'm having. Oh, what time is it? Oh, all right. New client, I guess she's running late. Why do I put up with them? All right. Let me just check. Cassandra, is my 1 o'clock out there? No? Yeah, she's running quite a bit late. Oh, she just walked in. Okay. Show her in. Show her in. Yes. Thank you, Cassandra. Yes. Please have a seat, please. Have a seat. You wanted to speak to me regarding divorcing your husband? Mm-hmm. 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 Now, let me just verify. Mrs. Anderson. Oh, um, all right. If you would prefer, legally the two of you are still married, but okay, okay. Uh, Ms. Fisher, yes, yes, you're changing your last name back to Fisher. Yes, I understand, I understand. These things can be very difficult indeed. Um, now, Miss Fisher, your husband, Mr. Anderson, why exactly are you trying to divorce him? Mm-hmm. 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 Oh, I see. He cheated on you with a much younger woman. Oh, yes, yes. Well, that's very unfortunate. Um, oh, yes, I'm afraid it's quite common. Yes, yes, Ms. Fisher. Quite common indeed. Now, oh, you'd like to talk about your husband's assets. Well, normally during an initial meeting, we talk about other things. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, so you're insisting. Very well, very well. I'll be happy to represent you as your attorney in divorce court. And you'd like to talk about your husband's assets. Okay, okay. Um, what's the first one you want to talk about? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Um, Ms. Fisher, that's not exactly considered a classic car. Yes, yes. Well, I understand the fact that it's over 20 years old, but you just told me that it's falling apart, it's covered in rust, and the back seat is full of apparently your husband's clothing and other possessions. Oh, I see. When you caught him cheating, you insisted that he leave. And you actually put all of his possessions in the back seat of his rusted out. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, um, I hate to break the news to you, but something like that, it's only worth Kelly Blue Book value. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And actually, I had a client last week who divorced her husband, and she actually let him keep the car because it's practically worthless. How much is it worth? Well, realistically, that exact make and model, right around $200. Yes, ma'am, 200. It's it's practically worthless. Oh, well, sometimes color can matter. What color is your husband's car? It's white. Um, I hate to break this to you, but white is the cheapest color. So your husband's vehicle is going to be worth even less than 200. Yes, ma'am. Well, ma'am, normally a classic car goes back at least 50 years. No, not 15, 50, 50, or even more. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Your husband's vehicle is absolutely worthless. Yes, ma'am. Less than 200. Okay, okay. Yes, I'm afraid it's not considered a classic car. All right. Mm-hmm. 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 Well, I'm sure your husband has other assets. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He has a baseball card collection from about 10 years ago. Um, well, I hate to say this because I have a baseball card collection going back 30 years, and there's a few cards in there that have some value, but the bottom basically dropped out of the baseball card collector market quite a few years ago. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I mean, I really don't like admitting it, but unless your husband has several individual Hall of Fame mint condition cards, I doubt his collection is worth even a fraction of what he paid for it 10 years ago. And again, it's only 10 years. Does your husband have any older cards? He doesn't. Okay, yes. Um, well, I mean, technically, it's called a baseball card collection. Realistically, it's just a bunch of baseball cards in boxes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry about that. The lights sometimes flicker a bit. Now, oh, that's just the automatic air freshener. Yes, yes. No need to get upset. So, let's see if I have this right. He has a bunch of baseball cards from about 10 years ago. He only started collecting them 10 years ago. Now, why is that, ma'am? Oh, I see. Because they were dirt cheap. Well, there's a reason why they were dirt cheap 10 years ago. I mean, the bottom fell out of the market. They're practically worthless. Your husband thought they would recover. Well, I'm sorry, but your husband is very much incorrect. Yes, I hate to break it to you, but your husband's car is practically worthless. Your husband's baseball card collection is practically worthless. Are there any other assets? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. So he does have a savings account, all right. Would you happen to know how much money is in there? Mm-hmm. 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 Um, Ma'am, I hate to tell you this, but you just informed me that you've been taking money out of that savings account early. Now, that type of account, it's technically not a savings account. You're not supposed to take out money before retirement. Well, yes, ma'am, before a certain age, retirement age. Ma'am, that particular account, since you've been taking money out of it, I can guarantee you that you've been hit with fines. And considering how much you've taken out early, I doubt there's barely $10 in that account. I mean, you just told me the amount, and you told me how much you've taken out of it recently. Yeah. Well, I'm very sorry, ma'am, but I can guarantee you there's nothing in that account, and you might be looking at fines and penalties that may exceed the amount that was originally in there. So that would be negative equity or a negative asset. Well, I'm sorry. I'm not in the habit of giving my clients bad news, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, okay. Your husband has gold fillings in his teeth, and you want those. I don't know how to tell you this, but, well, basically, it would be illegal to do that. Well, I'm not talking about the moral issue, but it's actually against the law to steal a living person's teeth. Okay, you're not trying to steal his teeth. You're trying to steal the fillings, the gold fillings. I, Ma'am, no, that's just illegal. That's not an asset. No, that's not an asset. Let's just let's just move on. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. So you want child support. How many children do you have with your husband? Two. Okay, okay. That's definitely something I can write up and ask the judge. I just need to know, how old are your children? Uh, 22 and 24. I'm sorry, but legally, they're considered adults. Yes, ma'am. I'm afraid you can't get child support because they're not technically children. Yes, I understand. You gave birth to them and they're your kids, but the law considers them not to be children. Yes, ma'am. Yes, they're too old for you to get child support. Mm-hmm. Okay, now what about alimony? I'm sure we can go after that. I'm guessing that you gave up your career, you stayed home. It's been decades, and you want to divorce your husband, so you gave up your career. And oh, you did not give up your career. I see. What do you do for a living? Mm-hmm. 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 And you do that full time. Oh, I see. You do. Okay. Okay. That's that's going to be a bit of an issue. Yes, ma'am. Because you did not actually give up a potential money-making career in order to marry your husband and move in with him and give him children. No, you don't automatically get alimony. No. Well, at one point in time, it used to be like that, but you don't get alimony just because you're the woman in the marriage. No, ma'am. No. No. Yes. Yes. Now, what does your husband do for a living? Oh, he's a cook. I see. I see. Where does he work at? He works at McDougal's. Ma'am, I've never heard of that restaurant. Is it a fancy one? Oh, I see. I see. It's basically the equivalent of a local, uh-huh. So it's basically a local fast food joint. Ma'am, when you say your husband is a cook, do you mean he's a fry cook? Oh, he is. Oh, and he works part-time. Yes, even better. Ma'am, um, if we went in asking the court for alimony, you make more money than your husband does. The only one who would get alimony is him. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am, I am not joking. Okay. Now, is there anything else you would like to get from your husband? Ma'am, no. No, you cannot have that. No. No, ma'am, you cannot have that. No. No, you cannot have your husband castrated. No. No. What do you mean, why not? Ma'am, no. No. Every single person is entitled to the private parts they were born with. Now, unless your husband, being of sound mind and body, decides he wants that procedure done himself, no. No, no, you cannot have that in the divorce. No, ma'am. No, because it is illegal. Yes, ma'am, it is. Ma'am, let me ask you something. You caught your husband cheating. Is that it? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had caught him cheating. He admitted to you he was cheating. Okay. Now, where did this cheating take place? Did it take place in your home? Ma'am, what do you mean it took place in your husband's head? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So your husband had a dream, and in the dream, he cheated on you with a younger woman. Ma'am, let me make sure I've got this straight. He cheated on you in a dream. He told you about it, and you demanded he apologize. He refused. He said it was silly, and then you booked an appointment with my office for a divorce consultation. Is that correct? I see. Ma'am, I think you would be a lot happier with a different divorce attorney representing you. Yes, ma'am. I have to be honest, your case is so special and unique. It is beyond what I can do for you. Yes, ma'am, you would be much better off with a different divorce attorney. I am not good enough to represent someone like you in court. Yes, ma'am, I'm very sorry. Have a nice day. Yes, yes, goodbye.